Very good afternoon and welcome back. Dear delegates, before we begin this session, let me remind you once again to please join the NetApp booth at the exhibition space and fill the feedback form, as 10 lucky winners will stand an opportunity to win Amazon vouchers worth 1,000 rupees each. And in this session, we shall learn how to leverage data to accelerate clinical insights and improve health outcomes. And to share his expertise and knowledge with us, we are joined by Rajesh Itagi, Senior SE Manager, Mid-Market, Commercial and Cloud, NetApp. Sir, I'm positive our delegates are waiting to hear from you. So without further ado, I hand over to you, sir.
Hello, everyone. It's a pleasure to have all of you at this event. Thank you very much. And most importantly, I would like to thank each one of you, your doctors, the nurses, and all the support staff for helping us brave this pandemic. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart. My name is Rajesh Itagi. I drive the pre-sales function for NetApp in India and SAARC region. So the topic for the day is leverage data to accelerate clinical insights and improve health outcomes. But before I get there, I would like to just brief you on my organization, NetApp. So NetApp, founded in 1992 and headquartered in California state of the United States, NetApp specializes in helping customers get most of their data with industry-leading software, hardware, the systems, and our services to keep up with the market trends. In fact, we constantly innovate on our solutions, specifically on the software services, and extend our horizon of offerings to customers. So today, we have transformed ourselves into a global cloud-led data-centric software company. If you look at on the left side of my screen here, in fact, we have a whole lot of products and solutions. We have industry-leading ecosystem partners with whom we work with. We not only provide our storage solutions and data management solutions on-premise, but we are also very well present in the hyperscalers. Hyperscalers including Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, and Google Cloud Platform. Beyond this, in fact, we can also help you, ingest data at your edge locations and then bring it to the central site. So from an edge to core, which is your data center, and all the way to the cloud, we can provide you robust, seamless data management solutions across all this. Now, digital transformation has been, the new wave, and it's extremely important for every organization, irrespective of, the sectors, industry sectors. You need to embrace this digital transformation. Digital transformation is the adoption of digital technology to improve business processes, value for customers, and innovation. Now, the compelling need across all this digital transformation is centered around customers. And in case of healthcare, I would say patients. The patient experience is what matters for all of you. Having said that, let's look at the Indian scenario in the healthcare. The demography, the population, increase in number of patients, both, in fact, for Indian organizations, it is both domestic as well as international patients. Increase in the number of diseases and complexities, which translate into the need for more lab tests, the more diagnostics, more, imaging solutions that you need to look at so that you can diagnose and treat the patient much more effectively. While you require corresponding medical resources and equipments to be scaled up, it is extremely important for you also to build a robust IT infrastructure. Now, if you want to build this robust IT infrastructure, what are the key parameters you want to consider? The scale. Now, before I talk about scale, let's look at how you have been supporting patients and the caretakers from a PACS modality perspective, the X-rays, MRI, CT scans, ultrasound, so on and so forth. it would be a hard copy given to the patients and then nothing would exist in the hospitals. Then it slowly changed into providing, CDs to the patients, and nothing again existed in the hospitals. But over a period of time, we have seen that the importance of this information has become very critical to the hospitals. One is for your own internal purposes. Secondly, also to adhere to regulatory compliances like the HIPAA. Although HIPAA doesn't exist completely in India, but HIPAA is an important factor because we treat international patients. The security controls like the GDPR, managing the patient records. So these are the factors which are driving hospitals to store the data for longer duration. And specifically when we talk about MLC cases, so it is important for you to store at least for a period of like 7 years. Now, what would be the data size you need to consider? Just giving you an example, one of the large orthopedic hospitals in India does about 1,000 X-rays, 300 MRIs, 250 CT scans, and many more ultrasounds, etc. Now, going by the standard numbers of 10 megabytes for an X-ray and 250 megabytes for a CT scan or an MRI, looking at these numbers, the per day data that I told you, if I can translate into 365 days, the amount of storage capacity is going to be humongous. And it is not just the storage. It is not the scale which you need to look at only from a capacity standpoint. This information is going to be accessed. So as and when it gets ingested into this backend storage infrastructure, it also starts getting accessed simultaneously by the radiologists and the doctors for diagnosis and then taking further actions about the patients. So the storage system that is used to store this data should be highly available. And finally, security. You deal with personal identifiable information and the patient health records. So it is extremely important for you to consider the security aspects of how the data is going to be stored. The other one is simplicity. You might have the best of the systems, best of the IT infrastructure, but if it is going to be complex to manage, then the whole requirement becomes much more complex. Even to change minor things, if you are going to take time, if your administrators are unable to cope up with those new technologies, then you'll not be able to manage effectively your backend IT infrastructure. So simplicity is another important factor. Then we talk about agility. With mergers and acquisitions, or you starting expansions in terms of coverage across new cities, new locations, enhancements in these services that you offer, it becomes extremely difficult for you to manage with the existing infrastructure. Scaling up and down, building up an agile infrastructure in your own data center becomes extremely complex. And cloud could be the answer for this. Cloud brings in this agility. You can quickly spawn instances of your compute. You can scale up your storage capacities or scale down storage capacities. Cloud helps you do that. Data sharing, collaboration, cooperation are much simpler in the cloud. And also that you need to consider when you share this information, the patient records with your patients, with the external sources, passing through your own internal security controls like the firewalls and other policies that you have built in, it may be difficult for you to expose this particular information outside. So if you can have this data available in the cloud, it becomes much more easier for you to do this. So agility is one very critical factor. And when we talk about cloud, yes, you can build an infrastructure in your own premise and also build an infrastructure in the cloud. So which a combination of this is what we call a combination of private and public cloud infrastructures is what we call as the hybrid cloud environment. Having said that, these may look as two different silos of infrastructures. So it can become difficult for you to manage. That is the reason, in fact, we have introduced what we call as the data fabric. Data fabric is an architecture which is developed and conceptualized and developed by NetApp. This architecture and with a set of data services, we provide consistent capabilities of data across any of these environments. It could be on-prem, could be cloud, or it could be even the hosted environment which you can have. We allow a seamless copy of your data, or in fact, migrating data from one premise to the other environment. You can replicate for disaster recovery purposes. You can even replicate your data from on-prem into the cloud seamlessly and with a common management platform. That's a simplicity and agility which we want to bring to you with this data fabric framework. So this allows you to actually have the data in a similar format across even multiple clouds. Today, you might be with, as an example, with AWS. And tomorrow, if you want to shift to Azure, with their native tools, it becomes extremely complex for you to copy the data or migrate the data from AWS to Azure. But with NetApp technologies, with this data fabric framework, it becomes very seamless for you to migrate this data. Now, let me talk about the challenge, which typically we have seen in most of the healthcare organizations. I mean, you wouldn't have been facing this challenge, but most of the organizations we see this siloed infrastructure. When you have siloed infrastructure, the challenges are inefficient usage of the data, inefficient usage of the infrastructure, leading to wasted cost of both CapEx as well as operational expenses. So the way to do it is, in fact, if you can consolidate. If you can consolidate, not just replacing it with another mammoth storage, but with the next generation solutions that can reduce your TCO. And also enables you to better utilize, control, get better insights into the data with a better protection. What we can offer you here is a single storage system that can enable you to provide high performance to each of these environments, specifically in medical imaging, which requires high performance. As well as, in fact, there are solutions which can offer you with low cost. And the most important factor, what we talk about here is the unified storage solution that can offer both file and block services natively on a single storage system. So a common architecture, universal protocols, combined with common tools with simplified management. That is the one which we offer to you as customers. On the top layer, you can find here analytics and artificial intelligence. Now, AI can drive improvements in medical imaging and deliver better patient outcomes. Let me give you an example. A child is rushed to the hospital after a fall. So the first thing the doctor looks at it and then he says, like, get an X-ray. Because the doctor is more focused, there is a fall, so that could be a fracture. So when the X-ray comes in, he doesn't see any fractures, not even a hairline, and then he gives some painkillers and sends the child back. But we would have missed one important problem here. There could be a radial head dislocation. Radial head dislocation can lead to much more complexities for this patient, for this child, and can lead to multiple surgeries to correct this problem. So there is some amount of human error which can pop up. See, the medical imaging modalities have improved the precision of images. In fact, if I talk about MRI, we started with probably a 0.2, 0.5 Tesla machines, and today we are 1.5 Teslas and beyond that. But the human eye can see so much. With AI, computer-aided diagnostics, which can look even deeper from a pixel to pixel, at that level, in fact, that layered, detailed information, retrospective analytics can help diagnose and pinpoint the actual problem in a much more efficient and much more faster way. The challenge of siloed information can still be a deterrent for you when you talk about a comprehensive analytics platform. While we talk about IT infrastructure as credibly important, without this, you can't successfully implement the artificial intelligence and the analytics platforms. So when we talk about artificial intelligence. Rolling out an AI infrastructure, AI solution is not easy. You need to deploy the platform first, which comprises of the GPU-based systems, the backend high-performance storage, and the toolkit on top of that. The next step is we need to build the algorithms for the specific purpose of where you want to implement this AI. And next, in fact, you need to start training the AI system. And beyond that, you need to start inferencing this. And only after that, when you test it robustly, you can put it into production. So these different phases are very, very complex. But with NetApp, we actually partner with, apart from our own data management solutions that we bring in, we also work with world-class ecosystem partners who bring in the systems, who bring in the solutions that are absolutely relevant to build a more smart, powerful, trusted AI algorithms to help you deploy and embrace the AI solutions in a much more easier and much more faster manner. I did touch upon this edge earlier. Edge location, in case of a hospital, it could be your primary healthcare centers, it could be the remote clinics, or it could be even the labs from where you are collecting the samples from the patients and then taking the reports. Now, from there, you need to bring that data into the central data center for it to be consumed, for it to be utilized by your doctors, specialists, and the surgeons. And if I actually extend the solution to probably a pharma organization, pharma industry, it is the edge locations could be your clinical trials. It could be the area where you're trying to get data from different sources, different people. If it is a small set of data, yes, you can upload it using a mobile phone. But if the data set is large, i.e. your mobile phones or the traditional methodologies may not be efficient enough to do that. And that's where we bring in the software stack with us, which can be deployed at edge locations, ingest all the data into that. It could be even your IoT sensors. I mean, today we are talking about wearable devices for patients. That's another example. You can bring in all this IoT data, the edge data into a common platform. And from there, you can replicate, you can bring that data into the core data center, where actually it is analyzed, where it is help for diagnosis and further action with regard to the patients. Apart from this, in fact, the analytics platform, if you do not have in your environment, can also be, you can leverage the cloud analytics platforms from where you can run the analytics and bring the results back into your core data center. This seamless movement of data from an edge to core, which is your data center, and then to the cloud. This is what we have as the edge to core to cloud using our data fabric solution. So in a nutshell, if I have to summarize, digital transformation is the key, and we are here to help you embrace this digital transformation. As part of the transformation, in terms of the scale, performance, availability that you need to achieve, that can be provided by NetApp. And finally, working with our ecosystem partners, we can also help you build that AI platform to ensure that we provide you to leverage the data to accelerate clinical insights and improve the health outcomes. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Well, thank you, sir, for that extremely valuable session. I'm sure our attendees took away some great insights from it. Dear delegates, your comments and thoughts are extremely valuable to us, so keep them flowing in with the hashtag ETGDL. Remember to visit the partner booths in the Experience Zone and learn more about our partners. You must also visit the leaderboard where we have exciting vouchers for you to be won. Ladies and gentlemen, join us for our next session. Yet again, a very interesting panel discussion among the CIOs. You don't want to miss this one, so I'll see you there.